All right. Let's get into these topics, gentlemen. Okay. So, first, I want to ask the three fitness coaches here, what made you all go in the fitness world? It's a difficult world to go into, especially to sustain clients that retain the results and continue to come back, right? So how did you all, anybody can answer this, how did you get into that space and what made you stay?
I'll go first. So I was always into fitness. Even when I played ball in high school, college. And then, like I said, once I transitioned from work, I kept getting I didn't get the signs of people saying, you should get certified, you should get certified. So it wasn't once, but twice. But the second time I said, it was a sign. So I went straight into just signing up to get my certification. Once I got certified, I ended up working with Jonathan. That's when I met Jonathan. Built me up into what I am now. Then I started like the environment way better than just a regular job. I like, I'm a people person. I like helping people. So just try to be consistent in the work I do and helping people and helping them maintain their health, the eating. The money is the one thing that we don't care about, right? Okay. So when a client pays us, we will tell them the results matter first. So if you're not gonna take it serious, we get his money back. That's just how we do it. All right, so the results matter. That's what makes us happy, not the money. Okay. Money gonna make it second for us. All right, so that's how I look at it.
Yeah, when your heart and the money follow.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, for sure. I've been into fitness since my whole life. Since I was probably like 8 years old, I've been an athlete. That pretty much what kicked off my fitness journey. After I got out of college, I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. So one thing that always stuck with me, I like working out. And it's something that comes easy to me. It doesn't come easy to others. They say if you want to find your passion, find out what comes easy to you, and that comes hard to others. And then that's something that you can work on that makes you happy, and you can pretty much put some money in your pocket and help feed your family. Being a fitness trainer, is the most rewarding thing to me. Is when somebody can go from, I've seen it happen so many times. It's very difficult to do, but when somebody goes from one aspect of like being unhealthy, depressed, and then they can totally change from being depressed, sick, and then go from being the most healthiest person that they can be. And you're seeing how the glow up is crazy, because when you see somebody on how they skin look, they smile is bigger, they whiter, brighter. They are more confident to take on the world. Everything happens where you can get people get in better relationships, men, women, however you want to look at it. Positions at their job, people get promoted. When you feel better, man, when you look better and you feel good, you have better results. So I feed off of that.
Okay. I like that. So let's get into our first topic. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what does mental health mean to you as a Black man? So, what is your personal definition of mental health?
I'm coming from a different perspective because I've been in therapy for about 5 years, so my ways of thinking just might be a little bit different.
Okay.
Because I actually sit down on the couch every Wednesday, so to get better with that. My perspective on mental health is just getting better as a family, helping friends, family, just being a better man, period. So that's what I think mental health is for me personally. Just doing the work. What I said, about 4 years in, I actually sat on the couch for the first time. I thought I was crazy, to be honest, and I'm glad I did though, because it helped me have a better way of communicating and speaking freely. no doubt that if you've never been in therapy before, I think everyone should try it and see how it changes your life. So that's what the start is for me. I actually had to go do the work. I didn't want to start talking about certain things or certain circumstances if I didn't really do the work personally.
Okay.
That just makes it better for me to speak freely. But everybody got their own different story of how they do things.
So, why do you use that word "sit on the couch"?
It's just
It's a terminology.
you actually sitting on the couch.
Yeah, you are. That is true. You are.
She's in a little comfortable chair.
Okay.
I got a woman therapist too, and I'm just on the couch just letting it all out. I
Okay,
think that was
cool.
the first time I actually was able to release everything I was dealing with from the
Good,
streets.
very good.
So, like I said, I got a different background. Everybody come from somewhere. I come from the inner city streets of Chicago. My background may be a little bit different from all my brothers up here, but I'm glad we are able to sit here and come together and speak freely.
So, have you all experienced therapy?
Nah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when did you first recognize that it was time? Those that it was time to go to therapy. How did you know? Like, okay, this is it. I need to get therapy.
Okay. Let's see. There's been a few times where I experienced that I need therapy, but for me, I'm 50-50 on therapy, right? I think that people need it, but my outlook on therapy is I've had to find this different therapists. I've been searching for a good therapist, right? So you can't just go into therapy and then be like, I want you to be my therapist. It gotta be a good fit. Am I right on that?
Correct, right?
So it gotta be a good fit. So with me trying to go and find a therapist, I really haven't found a good fit. And like my man just said, I felt crazy. Because I do think differently from a lot. I think pretty much entrepreneurs, period, and business owners think differently from a lot of people, probably the 1%. But dealing with trying to talk to a therapist, I like the fact that my circle is tight, right? People who I can call and rely on to have a conversation with, who understand me and who knows me since I was a kid, and they saw the different changes that I went through in my life, physically saw them. And rather than somebody who doesn't really know me like that, trying to gauge off of like certain conversation, it's difficult for me, right? And I don't think that I want faster results, right? Because you said you was like 5 years, right?
Yeah,
4 years. See, with me, I personally want quick results. I need somebody to talk to me who knows me right away. And for me, my circle is tight. So I got a few people I can call on for spiritual therapy. My homeboy who I've known for 25, 30 years, I can call him. He gives me sound advice, tells me when I'm right and when I'm wrong, stuff like that. But when I found out that I needed therapy or somebody basically to talk to on a consistent basis to let everything out, once is when I got married, because being a head of a household is very difficult because a lot of things you can't really tell. Like you can't really dump a lot of things on your wife, your kids, and stuff like that. So I don't do that. So I need an outlet. Also, when my mother passed, that was something that was big for me. I was waters out. I accounted for everything possible that could go wrong in my life. I always thought it out. All right, this can probably go wrong. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. I can fight through that. But losing a parent was something that I could never prepare myself for. So that was uncharted territory. So that's when I realized I needed to talk to somebody.
Okay.
I always hear people telling us that we should try it. Yeah, they always say we should try it. With me trying to handle everything just as men, we got a lot on our shoulders, on our plate. I just try to handle it the best I can, keep everything with faith. Will I try it? Maybe. I'm not against it at all. Maybe I will start searching for one just to see if it will help. But from the place that I came from when I was at my Lord's, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a minute. But I'm just different mentally right now. I just feel like I don't need one right now.
They gave you some more tenacity and
Yeah,
drive that you thought you didn't have, right?
It did.
Okay.
If I could just touch bases on what Eric said, he definitely understands how hard it is to find a therapist. I think I read through like 4 or 5.
Okay. I hear that a lot.
That's what took the 4 years on. It was just like, all right, this ain't for me. This not a fit. This is more like an auntie to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just wasn't a good fit. But one thing I did learn about that, just reaching out to, sometimes it was a point in time that I didn't think I needed therapy because people was giving me positive advice. Like my mother, my father before he passed away, so I'm sorry about your mother passing away. I definitely know how deep that is, how hurtful that is. But it would just seems like everybody was biased towards me. Okay. And when I did speak freely, it was just like, Jonathan, you're doing everything right. But to me, I wanted to go deeper than everybody being biased to me. I understand how friends and support is. They're always going to be on your side. But it was just deeper than that to me.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get down to the grit of me.
Against it. But I'm not too like forceful to jumping into another relationship. I feel like therapy is a relationship because you have to trust the person that's actually giving you this advice and telling you things that you need to work on. I feel like sometimes you got a good therapist, you got a bad therapist. You know what I mean? It's like how do you weed them out to get the right one? And I don't think, like Eric said, he wanted results now. You don't have time.
Instant gratification.
It
don't work like that, sir.
Right now,
You can't get your answer before I leave. This is over.
like
I ain't coming back. I need an answer now.
You know what I'm saying? So, I feel like that 30 to 45 minute haircut is my therapy for sure. I feel like that's why I gain the most mental clarity because I'm forced to sit down and get this cut. I get to reflect. I get to just.
But you understand that person is not trained for that.
They not, but they do a really
Good
great
job.
I need to
Getting you right.
Did you right? Everybody goes so far with us.
You know what's funny? Because Iman Shumpert one time, I caught a reel on Iman Shumpert. He said, "Man, I thought I needed a therapy." He's like, "Man, I just found I just needed a haircut."
Cut.
I just needed a haircut.
You do what you can get it.
But that's what I'm talking about though. Like your circle,
Yeah.
like my barber, my pastor, my close friends. It's like sometimes I need those outlets, and I think when I'm done with that, I feel better and I understand. What's going on with me more. I spend a lot of time with me. I mean, for real. Like, I analyze a lot of stuff that I got going on in my own life. So, I think I have a good level of understanding, more than most, the average. But yeah, like I as long as I got my circle of people around me, I know I need professional help. Like, I know I need a professional therapist, but for the time being, when I'm trying to search to find one that I really think is a good fit, like, my circle is on point.
You mentioned when you go after you go to your circle, you feel better. Should you always feel better? Should you always feel better, or should you leave like, yeah, I got some homework to do? Because that's that bias. That's that biased opinion. At the same time, your circle might not give it to you like what they want to say because they don't want to ruin a friendship or whatever type of relationship they have with you. But Jonathan, do you feel good every time you leave therapy?
No.
Okay.
See, I think the thing with my therapist, I got homework. I was gonna bring it too, but I didn't think nothing of it. My therapist
did a group project.
My therapist give me homework, give me exercise to do. Then when we come back next Wednesday, whatever the next Wednesday is, we talk about it. Without exercise, repeating, there's no way to get better. That's why it takes so long, honestly, because you might have a week that nothing really happens.
Okay.
That actually triggers you. Then you go to the next week, you speak freely. But that exercise is very important. I had therapists I was paying top dollars to didn't challenge me. And when I finally felt that and give you exercise work to go home, even actually they taught me how to love my child a lot better than what it was, because I thought the love was just buying gifts. You get me? And then it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It's spending time. It's learning. It's teaching her as she goes along, hitting certain ages, and I think now, and a lot of times people don't understand is your friends and family change too. So you got to be able to do the work right along with everybody. You know what I'm saying? I people my brother a lot, and I see him mature. So when he mature, I got to mature. I got to teach him what I learned. He teach me what I learned. So it's just an ongoing process.
Yeah. And that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
You want to answer the Q?
Yeah.
Alright, so you know, like, I guess in the mental aspect of it, the academic journey is just as demanding as the physical, and they both impact each other. So when you're not feeling your best physically, it's kind of hard to give your best mentally. So when I'm teaching kids in school, they sometimes can't get the lesson right away not because they don't get it or understand it, they haven't eaten. You know, they glucose it ain't firing on all cylinders. So it's like, let me grab them a snack or bring some donuts to make sure they're good, because everybody living situation is different. So you can't really count out the kids that's not getting it right away. It's just the circumstances to where they're coming in at, where they at in their journey. And I message E and Darius all the time in the Facebook game. I'm like, yo, hey, what you think about this? How can I do this? They be like, man, try this or do this. And I be like, all right, bet. You know what I'm saying? I know they're going to send me a bill later because I be trying to figure it out. I be like, man, I just need to get in with them and just do the work. But I be like, I guess I be in my head too much. You would think yourself or talk yourself out of doing something great, because it's like, I know that they gonna hold me accountable, especially Darius, because I'm like, I go to practice one game a day with him. He like, you shooting 300 jump shots today. You know what I'm saying? So I know he gonna make me do the work for real if he understand the goals that I'm trying to get. And you know what I'm saying? Like, coming from the same place, they got a different outlook on not giving up. Because out of everybody sitting up here, we could have stopped a long time ago or just gave up. But the journey required for him to be working toward his best version of himself, for him to work toward the best version of himself. Same for him. So if all of these guys up here are best versions of themselves, and I'm around them 5, 10 minutes, 30 minutes here and there, they ain't do nothing but uplift me. You know what I'm saying?
So why you ain't go yet?
because I'm still busy. I'm still busy making kids the best versions of themselves, and that's a totally different timetable. So I'm gonna get it in with them for sure. But I'm working in progress. But to answer your question, like, it's really just it's time. Like, the time you put in, and I know from the therapy point of view, writing is my therapy. So sometimes even I don't feel like it, sometimes I gotta write myself a note, give myself a positive aspect, like you can do this. When I get into work, I write myself a note, a prayer, or what have you, and then, a lot of people don't know, like, my first book is literally a whole, like, book of prayers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's poetry, but it's a whole book of prayers, and it's like, looking at that, it showed me how far, like, where I started, how far I've come, and like what I'm leaning on in faith, but it boosts me in the mental and the physical. You know what I'm saying? Keep me going every day. So.
Train some people.
Yes. You didn't even know you was a therapist, did you?
I've trained clients where, man, dead serious. Well, we'll have a whole agenda on what we're gonna do for that day. No lie, we probably did 30 jumping jacks and talk for the rest of the session. Right, because they really came in to just to get a conversation, their community. But what it does for me is, like, after I come back from a run, putting myself through harsh physical activity, it helps me relax when I'm done. Right, so now, if I don't do that, I feel like I'm not in my purpose. And with me being in my purpose, it affects everybody around me in a good way. So if I'm not mentally there for my family or feeling a certain type of way, man, I'm upset. Dishes got to be done. Floor need to be swept. I mean, all that stuff need to be done, or it's gonna be a shouting match in the house. I'm upset. But that's when I don't get my workout in, when I don't get my fix. Right?
There's no fix.
But when I get my workout in, when I run and I'm feeling good, I don't have the physical. My body is so relaxed and calm. I'm chilling. But you can't get me out of my comfort zone. The dish is not done. Do one tomorrow. Sweep the floor tomorrow. Y'all want to go out and get something to eat? I'm just the coolest person. But if I don't get my workout in, it's a problem.
Y'all, your family, you hear that?
You know for sure.
Let him go get his workout.
It's so much.
I'm
I'm with him on that because I won't be able to function if I don't get my workout.
Really?
Whether it's just walking, just doing abs, like just because you're gonna feel like you're failing yourself for the day, you ain't starting off right.
Yeah.
So once you get that workout in, the day I just feel like my day gonna be the show.
Well, that's good.
Whatever comes gonna be here.
What's your motto? Discipline.
Discipline over movement.
Okay.
Discipline over movement, and that's real. The foundation should be discipline.
Hey, I need a shirt.
I got a shirt. I got a shirt. I should be.
Goodies. No, that's what.
That's why.
I thought I had questions for different people, but y'all doing a good job with all the questions. So this is for everybody. So the role of mentorship in brotherhood, especially within the Black man community. I had a Zoom with one of the gentlemen that couldn't make it today, and we talked about. He's a life coach, and he has like positive affirmations he do on TikTok all the time. Coach Larry. So we talked about brothership and everything like that. And one thing that he said on there was that, you know, we got to start as Black men pouring into each other, right? Giving our brother a pat on the back, like, oh, that's a good job, instead of always pointing out like the negative, and not think that you're in competition with the next person, and collaborating more so than anything. So what do you all think about the role of mentorship and brotherhood? How does that sit with you?
So with me, like with me and Jonathan, it's hard to find those people that will give you your flowers when you're doing good, because people just, in general, feel like life is a competition, right? So the one thing I noticed about him when we first started working together, it's about we, right? So even when we having a conversation about us having to do some new plan, he'll say I, and then he'll say, no, I mean we, right? So that's the one thing that I know, trying to work together gotta be about we. Can't just be about me.
Yep.
And that unity is, having that unity and being able to work together make it easier. Versus you just trying to have your own agenda. No, I don't like what he's doing. He think he better. You know how people just have those personal agendas versus people out of spite for no reasons. Like, there don't even be a reason half the time. So, uplifting each other, that just give us that power amongst each other so we'll be able to keep going.
Mentorship. Do anybody got a mentor?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I think you should have a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you pay for it or somebody that you know that is successful and they are pouring into you because you either ask to be a mentor or they want to mentor you. Mentorship is big.
Yeah.
You know, I got a mentor personally, and he helped me out with a lot. He took me from one point in my life, fast forward me to where I'm at today. If I didn't have that mentorship, that process would have probably taken me 3-4 years. A lot of trial, a lot of error, and a lot of money lost, a lot of time lost. So me having a mentor is something that's huge, and I think everybody should have a mentor.
Yeah, I agree. And those that hold you accountable.
Right.
And don't let you sit in your, to get you out of it and help you just move forward. Yeah. Okay. What are some things or practices you all do? Like Jonathan, I know you a plant daddy.
I wanted a boy. I got about 5, 6 boys now. So.
Okay. Does it help you?
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
That helps a lot. I got a couple other hobbies. I build old cars too. that's some of the hobbies that help me deal with certain things.
What about Q? What hobbies you have?
Chess.
Chess. Okay, I didn't know you did chess.
So
Smoking with checkers, boy.
We said chess. Easy.
chess because it's I'm self-taught, like nobody taught me.
Oh,
Just
okay.
kind of just deep dive into it, and that's the only game where you learn the most within the losses. And it's like I was around here whooping people, and I played one of my cousins that just got released. He was incarcerated.
He whooped you.
Man, he came by the house and sat down and was like, bing, 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 bing. I was like, you know what I'm saying? But it was good to see like that his mind is still sharp, even though he was incarcerated. But I was like, if that kept his mind sharp, and he was on the inside, like how can it help me benefit while I'm just out on my daily 1-2? And you get to figure out that chess got mathematical principles. And teaching math, like I gotta teach every kid that I teach math to patience. And so teaching kids with, autism or on the spectrum or special education is just, my patience gotta be on point. Because I could tell them like, hey, in order to find the circumference of a circle, you gotta multiply radius, diameter times pi, whatever. And if they don't get it the first time, I gotta go over it over and over and over and over. And so my patience is set up a little differently. So while a lot of teachers average like 30 write-ups for the year, I don't have any.
Oh, that's
So it's like I'm not writing up kids because they behavior. I'm not writing up kids because they don't get the lesson. Like once you develop really good relationship with the students, they'll sit down and work it out with you. Especially if they know that what they're doing is important or it makes sense to align to what they want to do in life. They'll sit down and chill for you. But it all depends on your approach. And so
you were survival mode until you do know like I don't have to live my life like
For
this.
sure.
Of course you don't have to be vulnerable. You play a ball on somebody, chin
Yeah.
crying. No, I'm not saying that.
I just
but-
gave that for an example.
Yeah, but of course, like, does it? My interpretation from what you said is calculated.
For sure.
Of when you can, like, A plus B equals C. Okay, I can let my guard down, but
Yeah.
But like, when is it a point where you like moving off what you know is mentally healthy for you, versus off the calculations in your mind?
when it's unconditional. If it's unconditional, you don't have to calculate. But love is not always that. It comes with conditions.
It's especially
Under the
man,
condition,
it's hard for
are
us
you will provide?
Yes.
Under the condition of how much you got in your bank account. Under the condition of we keep this lifestyle.
For sure.
If we can't keep that up, then it's like our value goes down no matter if we are emotional, available or not. So if the love is unconditional, you're gonna ride if I'm hot, you're gonna ride if I'm low. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only way.
So that's a whole nother topic. Y'all
It is.
Right? So the men and the women got these expectations. They always making these lists that they got a different list on. Man, the man should have this. And he ain't got this, and he ain't no real man. Or she ain't got this, she ain't no real woman. Like, it don't even work like that. Y'all going off what somebody else made. Like, this is their preferences, not yours. And I don't like how people follow what they see instead of just building your own self up and getting somebody else to see what they need. Like, they might see those things that they need in you without you even writing them down. Or that she take care of herself, she go to the gym. Like, she might have everything, but y'all on the internet going off and she ain't got that, but he ain't got this, then y'all going by that narrative. And that's how y'all looking at the world instead of just doing everything organically. They're making it hard on themselves, if you ask me, if you ain't just doing things the right way.
People actually commit suicide based off things they, like the trolls they say in your comments or, inboxing you and they really taking it to heart.
Yeah.
Using drugs, alcohol, become different type. What advice would you give a black man that's going through
So
something like
be patient. Be patient. That's what building yourself as a man. Because You start learning more about yourself as you get older. You become better. There's a lot of stuff that I'm doing now I never thought I'd be doing, like honestly. Stock trade, I wasn't thinking about it. I always wanted to do, like build like a portfolio, like I always see, like they always talk about the rich people with the portfolios. I always wanted to build one, but I never thought I'd be doing stock trading. And it's a hobby now. That's one of my hobbies every day. So just be patient with yourself and you trust that process. Don't, because everything gets better over time.
I like that everything gets better all the time. So, life in general, to protect your mental health, what are your non-negotiables? What would you like? What would you give if you had a son? What would you tell your son? I know some of you do. So, what would you tell your son as your non-negotiables to make sure they protect their mental health?
I would say have a strong why and a strong no. Strong why and strong no. If you got a strong why, you got your purpose in front of you, then it's easy to go and work towards your goals. Be happy while you're doing it. Strong no, and not to overexert yourself and volunteer yourself for everything. Sometimes things deserve a no, and sometimes no does not. No never feels good, no matter if you're giving it or somebody telling you no. But sometimes it's the best. So strong why and strong no.
I need your own, sorry.
No, but seriously, with me it's more so, it falls on the same lines of strong yes and strong no, but it's really just not doing anything that compromises your integrity and you feeling good, because coming from DJing, I have to say no to a lot of gigs that people will be like, why you gonna do that? Because I know if I did it, I wouldn't feel good about myself. I wouldn't feel good internally about the situation. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff I pass up on. It's a lot of stuff that I don't attend just because I know that it compromises me feeling good today, tomorrow, the next day, and so on. So really just being patient with yourself and you know what I'm saying? Like not doing things that compromise that. Because like once you play politics with the world.
This last question. Okay. What would you tell the 18-year-old you? If you had this plan, when you were 18, what would you tell yourself? We can start anyway. I mean, what would you tell yourself? What would be the first thing that come to your mind?
You got the longest one, so you might want to go first.
What would I tell the 18-year-old me? Is get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready.
Get ready because everybody is going to go through hardship, trials, tribulations. That stuff is coming for sure. I don't care who you are, how much money you got, what your background is. You're going to come across difficult times, period, right? But that's what life is about, though. It's about overcoming obstacles. So I say get ready. Also, that means be prepared for opportunity. Because sometimes you only get one opportunity. You may only get two. Some people may get 10, some people may get 30. You never know how many you're gonna get. So in order to be ready for whatever your number of opportunities are for the rest of your life, you always have to be prepared and just be ready for all of that stuff. So if anything is in front of you and you have the opportunity to get educated on something or when you want to walk in your purpose, whatever is aligned with your purpose, go do it. Get the certification, get the degree, whatever it is, so when that opportunity arises, you'll be prepared.
Ready.
Yeah, be ready.
Since I was 18,
Yeah.
so it's like they know the 18-year-old me. It's like he's not that guy right now, So I would just say run towards your fear, because if you would have told me yo, you gonna be teaching math, ain't no way. It's like I hated math. being in Jordan, I used to be like, man, get me out of here. What? Now I gotta teach it. I used to wait till the end of everything to take it. Like council action, when you want to take it, I'll put it toward the end and I'll take it toward the end. I didn't want to see no math. Now,
You're backwards.
they done literally coached me to be a mathematician. So I was like, you never know your limits, your boundaries, your capacity until you literally do something you're scared to do. So when they offer me a job, I'm like, man, okay, whatever, let's do it. And coming to see you, we had to talk about my faith and stuff like that. I would say just lean on your faith. Lean on your faith and prayer and run towards the fear, because within that, that's where everything you always wanted is right there. It's right there.
My 18-year-old self, don't sell yourself short. Don't limit yourself. I just figured I could speak definitely for me and Eric. We all had this basketball, baseball, like that was our only focus when growing up. We want to be these stars, which is typical for kids. Instead of just thinking about the other aspect of it, the academic part, or either other sports, track, swimming. Like I just wish I would have knew better, because I would have done more. Just don't sell yourself short, because that basketball life, it ain't, it's the percentages, it's against us. Knowing what the world has, like as far as opportunities, it's just, I just wish I knew all that at 18. The trade school, like I just knew all that till I got older. So I just don't sell yourself short.
Awesome. Don't sell yourself short.
Okay. So probably it's okay to be smart. I think 9 times out of 10, kids nowadays, with all the rap that's going on, it's actually clogging our kids' mind. So I just say, what I tell my 18-year-old self is just, it's okay to be smart. It's okay to listen to your parents. Because I was raised off love. I don't even know why I even went into the survival mode. Come from a 2-parent household. I had it all. So I don't even know where I went wrong at, honestly. I think just being surrounded by certain individuals, I thought that was the route that was cool at the moment. Now that I'm learning, mature, that I should have just stayed where I was at. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad did the hard work for us, for all his kids to be successful in life. So I guess it's okay. It's okay to just be smart. You're not missing nothing. Going to these streets or trying to fall into, I guess we call it, what is it, the egg crowd now, the drill crowd. I just gave away so much of my life in jail and just being around the wrong people, thinking that was what I had to do at that point in time. Just be yourself. It's okay to just be in a lane of your own. I figured it out now, but they always say that you learn from your mistakes. I definitely learned from my mistakes.